I'm sorry. I think your things are in my seat.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, come on.
You've got to be kidding me.
Excuse me, ma'am. I need to sit somewhere else. We used to be married.
Worst 19 years of my life.
We were only married for 5.
I'm counting the recovery.
I denne uge kan man indløse biografbillet til Paradis. Ticket to Paradise er en ny romantisk komedie med 2 af Hollywoods allerstørste superstjerner på plakaten. Julia Roberts og George Clooney.
Champagne.
Oh, 2, please.
Just leave the bottle. Thank you.
De spiller et skilt par, som rejser til Bali, så de sammen kan forpurre brylluppet mellem deres datter, Lily, og hendes indonesiske kæreste, Gede.
I won't let her throw her life away. We need to trick her into dumping him. As much as this will pain us both, we have to call a truce to make this work.
We have to be in lockstep.
Hey! Did you make a pact to not murder each other until you murder me first?
We are here for you, my love.
Yes, we're in lockstep.
Yes.
Og vi var forleden i London for at tale med flere af filmens skuespillere, og også filmens manuskriptforfatter og instruktør, Al Parker. Og netop Parker har erfaring inden for den romantiske genre. Han skrev og instruerede Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, og han har blandt andet skrevet de 2 film om The Exotic Marigold Hotel.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the great Guy Chambers.
Lordy, Lord have mercy on my ovaries.
Clooney og Roberts har selvfølgelig også masser af erfaring inden for rom-com-genren. Men det er efterhånden mange år siden, at de sidst jonglerede med både romantik og komik.
You're a thief and a liar.
I only lied about being a thief. I don't do that anymore.
Steal.
Lie.
Faktisk har de bevidst undgået den romantiske komediegenre i årevis, indtil de begge gik med til at lave Ticket to Paradise sammen.
On swastiasto me?
On swastiastu, g'day.
Hey.
You learned that to make me look bad.
You don't need my help there.
You're obviously working with 2 of the most experienced, of course, the biggest acting movie stars of all time. Yes. And of course, a lot has been made of the fact that they haven't done romantic comedies for years, and in George's case, decades. Did you feel that there were some cobwebs that had to be shaken off?
In no way at all. They showed up ready to play, and they played from day one. Actually, there's a scene where they kiss on the overlooking the sea. And I think that was day 2 of the movie, because it was going to be a beautiful day, so we scheduled it right at the beginning. And I think with any other actors, any other couple, you certainly wouldn't schedule a big moment like that anywhere near that early in the shoot. You know what I mean? You take time to get to know each other and to bond and to feel comfortable and get that chemistry. But so with those guys, you could just go, yeah, fine, day 2 will be fine. So no, they were just all in from the beginning.
They just got into the groove.
They just got, well-oiled machine.
Speaking of well-oiled machine and getting into the groove, how much of the beer pong scene is really them? How much of that is the magic of editing?
I see 2.
Oh, yeah.
It's all them. They went for it. I mean, we did it in about 2 hours. You shoot really fast. You have lots of cameras. You get ready, and then they, because they don't have that many takes in them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then so they had the tracks. We talked about various different moves that they might try, and sent them the 3 tracks that we're going to use.
Can we get something a little more age appropriate for these 2? Something old school? Focus, really.
Get ready, and...
Oh, no.
And then you just go for it, wind them up, and and the kids opposite the other side of the table were stunned by their level of commitment and joy. And then they're genuinely trying to make each other laugh as well. And when they do, the laughter is genuine because it was a ludicrously fun night.
I was about to say that you could feel that there was like a moment where George is suddenly laughing.
Yeah, no, I gave George a note. He did a thing. He does a bit, and it makes Julia laugh, and her laughter makes him laugh, and that's totally real. And it's amazing with George because obviously we've seen them both on screen so many times, and we sort of know what they can do, and you watch it, love to see it again and again. But I've never seen George do that. I've never seen him that loose on screen. No. So that's a really happy moment.
That was
for me.
A pleasure for seeing. Yeah. But I mean, romantic comedies are getting more rare than they used to be. Yeah. And of course, when they're made, they're usually about young lovebirds in their teens or in their 20s. But you've definitely shown also before, with Mamma Mia and also Exotic Marigold Hotel that you wrote, that you have an interest in showing romance through like a more mature lens. And you also do that here. Is that because you feel like that isn't done enough in romantic movies?
I don't think it's done enough. I think it's an issue at any age. The issues are different. The way that you go about it is different. You can't have the same level of kind of misunderstandings and does she fancy me and why hasn't he called? We don't do these things past a certain age, do you know what I mean? But so if you find the trope in Marigold Hotel, it's about whether they can re-find that part of themselves at all, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in this case, it's a question of whether they, at what age do you commit to a new kind of life? Can you be ready for something else, or are you settling into something that you you know when you shouldn't do. Do you know what I mean? And actually, that's most of the movie is about that, a desire to. And I think the pandemic unlocked that for lots of people, in the sense that actually the way that we've been living might not necessarily be right, and that maybe we should make more of our own decisions. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, any age, we're going to have the same issues.
See you there.
Isn't he amazing?
Only if he drops her.
Bagefter talte vi med Maxime Boucher og Caitlin Dever, som spiller filmens 2 unge turtelduer. Indtil nu har Boucher primært optrådt i indonesiske sæbeoperaer, mens Dever på rekordtid er blevet brandvarmt navn i Hollywood. Ikke mindst takket være hendes indsats i den blændende komedie Booksmart.
She's got a really cute smile. Go talk to her. Oh, sorry. Sharp elbows, not as sharp as your chin. What?
Og også kritikerroste præstationer i seriøse tv-dramaer som Unbelievable og Dopesick. 2 serier, der helt klart er mere alvorlige end Devers nyeste værk.
Here you go.
It's not for the faint of heart.
This is not his first rodeo.
I'd actually like to take, first of all, a deep dive into obviously the highlight of this film, which is the beer pong / dance-off sequence in the film, obviously. And I read an interview with George just a couple of days ago in the New York Times where he said specifically that the two of you were horrified during the making of that scene. Is that an exaggeration?
I mean, he I think they like to say that, but we really weren't. It was actually, we were just
laughing.
Laughing and in awe of what was happening.
Yeah.
It was so unexpected because we were kind of like doing the scene. We had a couple of scenes that we were doing before, and it kind of just like literally happened out of nowhere. The camera set up, and George and Julia looked like they were getting ready to do, and they just went, and there was actual music playing.
Oh, yeah!
People are looking. Dad. And George is really good at beer pong.
Yeah,
surprising.
That's
really good at it.
So they beat you for real?
He kept because
really
the shots were like he had to do it like for real, and he just kept on, and we were just like, whoa!
Yeah. I had never played, but George and Julia, you know, their friendship is real, and it's really you see it on screen. It's magic on screen, but it was really magic in person to be able to get to be around that.
Well, I couldn't help but wonder watching the film, like, if my daughter's movie dad was played by George Clooney, would I be jealous, actually? But then I remembered your father, Tim, obviously is the voice of Barney, the dinosaur, and that's more awesome than anything on George Clooney's resume.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool.
There are so many ways to celebrate the holidays.
Yeah, Barney. It's a pretty random fact about my dad, and then he went on to be a figure skater. He started figure skating and then went on to be Barney. So it's a very random part of my life, but it's something I'm very proud of.
Now I can't help but wonder, how good would Barney be at beer pong?
Barney at beer pong, that's an image.
Maybe for the sequel, obviously.
See, Barney just coming in with a pip. And I have to drink all of that. Oh my God, Barney.
That's a shared universe we need to see, you know? Yeah. But speaking of special skills, I know you're both experienced wonderful singers, obviously. And Ol Parker has already, of course, he did Mamma Mia, the musical. And just the setting of this film, it almost makes you want to sing, just sitting there watching it. Oh, yeah. And with him directing it. Did you we're sort of bummed out that you didn't get, that it wasn't a musical. Did you try to convince him, like, we need to put some songs in here, man?
Yeah.
You know what it felt like? I watched it yesterday night when we had that scene on the waterfall, like after the whole... It felt like we were gonna sing there. It felt like it was gonna be like a musical there.
Don't go chasing it.
Chase your dream, don't follow it.
Yeah, all is just so much fun. But yeah, we did have some musical vibes. I feel like I remember ABBA started playing one, or you had
we had ABBA playing.
So it's kind of like my worlds are colliding. Yes, with Mamma Mia and Take It to Paradise. It was fun.
Yeah, it was really fun.
And there she is.
Oh, looks like someone upgraded.
Til sidst talte vi med de 2 humørbomber, Luca Bravo og Billy Lord, som er relativt nybagte skuespillere. Lord har blandt andet medvirket i de nyeste Star Wars-film og i den førnævnte Booksmart.
That car belongs in a museum. What the Jared? I said door to door.
Mens Bravo blandt andet har spillet en ung charmeur i Netflix-hittet Emily in Paris.
Sorry, I thought this was my apartment. 5th floor?
This is the 4th floor. 5th floor.
Right.
Og i Ticket to Paradise spiller de henholdsvis Lillys bedste veninde, Ren, og Julia Roberts nye kæreste, Paul.
At least when I date, it's age appropriate.
Og selvom de i den grad er på kurs mod stjernestatus, så er de to stadig nok bedst kendt for at være henholdsvis datter og søn af berømte forældre. Billy Lords mor var selveste Carrie Fisher, og Luca Bravos far, Daniel Bravo, var en prominent fodboldspiller i 80'erne og 90'erne. Og først og fremmest må vi slå fast, at det er nogle vildt fede navne, som de to unge skuespillere har arvet.
First of all, I'd actually like to say, like Lord and Bravo. I think that's like two of the most badass names.
I've never thought about that.
You haven't thought about that? It sounds like the name of the most awesome cop show ever made.
Wow. We have been saying we want to do a cop buddy comedy. We should be detectives. Yeah. Lord Bravo should just be the name of the film.
Yeah, Lord Bravo just showed up at the party.
Up on the scene.
That's pretty cool.
There's two bodies.
But actually, I would have loved to see more scenes between the two of you because you're so great. You have this wonderful zany energy. You're sort of the awesome comic relief in the film. I mean, that would have been awesome.
It would have been good. We did extracurricular scenes. It sounds weird.
With an intimacy coordinator.
Yeah. Okay. Of course, always with an intimacy coordinator.
Professional.
Never. I don't do anything without an intimacy coordinator these days. But yeah, I would have loved to have more scenes with him because we met in quarantine. Yeah. We both climbed over a balcony.
We did, yeah.
And threw some contraband over to each other.
We had I literally took a broom with a plastic bag with a bottle of alcohol in it and cigarettes and they went literally 50 floors or something. And
it was dangerous.
And production this is the last thing production wants to hear about before you start production.
Yeah. Well, now after we could tell all the tales.
Yeah. This is for the press. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Of course.
For the fans.
We were like this.
We did it for the fans.
After 2 weeks of quarantine,
sobbing
like this. And she was like, I got it.
But then I wonder if one of those pieces of contraband, because I've had especially one burning question since I finished this film, specifically finishing the bloopers, where you were wearing Adam West's 1960s Batman costume. I gotta hear the story behind that.
So Caitlin was out of Dopesick, of shooting Dopesick with Michael Keaton, who was the first Batman. And so since he was a Batman as well, he would come to set every day and be Caitlin, who's your favorite Batman? And I thought that joke was brilliant. So I was like, wouldn't it be funny if I got the whole Adam West Batman from the 70s and just wear it in a scene and this is what happened. I waited for the last scene because I didn't want him to retaliate. So there was the last thing we shot. Yeah.
But he could have retaliated and put on his Batman costume, obviously. That would have...
I would have loved it.
Yeah.
My entire childhood would have
But it is basically the same film, Ticket to Paradise. Batman Robin is about villains coming together to break up a loving relationship. I mean, there's Robin and Batman. Here, it's our loving lovebirds, but pretty similar.
Would I admit Julia Robin? Julia Robin, is that her name?
Julia Robin.
It feels like a real name.
Yeah, it does.
Julia Robin.
Yeah.
But I'm quietly running out of time, but I gotta ask, because your dad, of course, he scored one of the goals we all know this, in 1982, he scored one of the goals for France against Italy, one of their first victories, I think in 60 years.
You're so documented.
Yeah.
That's legendary. You didn't tell me that.
We're talking to a real journalist.
But I would just like to say, haven't you beaten that by now having a scene in the film where you have a passenger saying that you're an upgrade on George Clooney? I mean, you can take that to your dad and then say, I've beat your achievement.
That is such a sensitive question, actually.
Right, this could be a family...
Because I grew up, not in my father's shadow, but I think I grew up with the sense that I will never top anything. My dad was always this entity who played for the French soccer team, Paris. I always saw my dad as people telling me, "Oh, your dad is great," and seeing people in the street wanting pictures with him. And in my head, I made peace with the fact that I would never be more than that, And it can't. You don't really think about it, but it kind of grows on you as you get older, and when you think about your accomplishments and everything, and that shift in my career definitely brought a lot of perspective and questioning about my childhood, and I unlocked we're getting deep, huh?
We're getting
awesome. Yeah.
But it's such a sensitive question. I would not expect that. So yeah, and my dad kind of is like a proud Jewish mother. He's showing pictures to friends, and I'm like, it was never like this. It's super low key and classy. And now he's just like, oh, you need to see that picture. Look at my son's suit, and he's with, and I'm like, wow, it's like a second phase of my life.
Wow, awesome. Guys, thank you so much. I think we got through the whole emotional register.
Thank you.
We did.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Skip therapy this week. Thank you.
Yeah. Looking forward to your cop show.
Try to keep the snoring down.
I have a nasal strip.
It's a mystery you're still alone.